All right, welcome back. So Jeff, have you ever done any interesting facial hair experiments?
Not on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not committed. I'm not really a committed guy. Yeah, it looks like that takes a lot of work.
Is it commitment or is it capability?
It might be laziness, really.
Okay, okay. So you've never grown a beard like that?
No, never have.
Okay.
It's on my bucket list.
Oh, very good.
Someday
I
I'll
actually
grow up.
pay money not to do that. A little bit different, different objectives. How about this?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to administer a Unix or Linux system when you're on the go?
Now you're just being mean.
I know,
all right?
I
I'm a
know I
musician.
am, but I couldn't help it. Listen, it's not just you. The reality is it hasn't been easy until now. Because one of the cool things is with the latest release of Reflection, it's an iOS or Android app, and it actually allows you to administer Unix and Linux systems from mobile devices.
That sounds awesome for very smart people.
Well, actually, it's so easy, Jeff, I think even you could do it.
Me?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Well, maybe kidding a little. But now it's time for my next guests. The mobile conversation has shifted from really managing devices to managing apps. So Jeff, what's your favorite app?
Well, I've got a special app, actually. It measures the man-woman ratio in any room that I'm in.
Yeah.
And I actually just checked it a couple seconds ago, and I think right now it's at 893 to 7
Let's hear it for the 7.
for the men.
Power to you. Yeah.
It doesn't do a lot for our social life, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the power of yes isn't going to help you out with that
I don't
this
think
week.
there's any
Yeah.
app in the world
Yeah.
that's going to help my social life.
That's a safe assumption for right now. Well, listen, my next guest has written extensively on this topic. And by this topic, I don't actually mean Jeff's social life. I mean getting information out via apps. You may recognize him from his bestsellers like Rise of the Planet of the Apps, Angry Nerds, and my personal favorite, Appageddon. Yeah, seriously. So please give a warm BrainShare welcome to author Rick Carlson and his co-author and Zen master, Jason Blackett. Come on out, gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning, Zen master. Please sit down. Look at that, your ambiance even chilled out the band. Yeah, nice chill music. So Rick, check this out. Great book, congratulations. What inspired you to write this?
Yeah, this has been a book we've been wanting to write for some time. I mean, I really appreciate you liked Appageddon.
I did.
That was a great book
It was
to
a
write
page
as well. If we look across, just the last 5-10 years, how much has changed in technology, right? I mean, just to give some examples, obviously you got the explosion of mobile devices. You've got just the ubiquity of cloud services. You've got consumer app stores, just to name a few. And all of these changes have really started to really impact the way users collaborate, how they approach their jobs. It's created new attitudes and behaviors, right? And so, I was kind of listening a little bit to your last guests that came out, Chris and Edmund,
Right.
and they were talking a little bit about some of the tensions that are created through some of this change. So we really wanted to kind of explore how organizations are trying to solve this.
So in terms of the tensions that you reference, what is it specifically that users are doing that makes it hard for IT?
Yeah, great question. In our book, we put in a nice little infographic that kind of compares,
I think I've got that here.
highlights some of the differences betwin how
good,
users
they've
work
got it.
today versus how they worked in the past, or not many years ago, really. It wasn't very long ago. We'd go into a physical location. We'd go into the office. We'd get an assigned desktop. We were really tied to that work environment, and users don't work that way anymore. They want to do their work from wherever. They want to be able to do their work at any time. So it's really changed. If we look at the typical 25 to 30-year-old knowledge worker today, right? They're so different. They're always connected. They post their lives on Facebook, Instagram, all these social networks. They're constantly downloading, uploading information from just about everywhere, and they do it from almost any connection, whether it's at office, whether it's at home, whether it's from the Starbucks, the local Starbucks, or whether it's even from their next door neighbor that somehow left his wireless connection unsecured, right?
Yeah.
So they're very used to this always available, and they don't really think about the same security implications this might imply, right? Privacy, security, really take on a different notion for these users.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right that it just you don't even think about it as a user if you're not
Right.
associated with IT.
I think another really critical change is apps themselves, applications, right? And that was really the subject of my last several books. I spent a lot of time on that. Applications have changed. The way, if you look at mobility, you look at the whole consumerization model, consumer app stores have really had a fundamental change on how we develop applications and how we deliver them to users. And it's, it wasn't very long ago we'd had these very large monolithic applications that could do just about everything.
Yeah.
And yet we used maybe 10% of the functionality.
Kind of like
right?
our brains.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. At least mine. I know that. Apps just aren't like that anymore. They're much smaller. They're task focused. They're really, very specific to accomplish a
right. I mean, if
particular
Jeff
goal.
has an app to say the male-female ratio in here, that's an example of truly how specific and task focused they've become.
Exactly. And they're available from anywhere. The user can go out to any app store, consumer app store, download the application, get his job done. Really, the whole approach has changed. It's really about, I have a set of tasks that I want to do. I'm going to go find the application that makes that easy, and I'm going to use it, regardless of where the app comes from.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That makes perfect sense when I think about how I go about work. You just want to access the apps and get your job done, right?
Exactly.
From whatever device is closest to you,
Whatever
and you
device.
expect the same consistent experience.
And they expect the same thing for corporate information, corporate data, content, files, right? And it's really about getting the technology out of the way, letting me get my job done as easily and effectively as possible.
Okay. One thing as I'm listening to you that kind of strikes me is it seems like the same things that actually enable productivity and make users more effective and efficient are actually the things that introduce risk. Am I misreading that?
No, you're absolutely right. And that's really the central irony here, right? Is this whole change really doesn't require a lot of IT involvement at all, right? You can do this without a lot of involvement from the IT organization. What's really interesting is users know they can get access to this information, they can get access to applications, they can share information, they can collaborate in so many ways that really don't involve IT anymore. And in the book we describe this as shadow IT solutions, right? And it's really often these shadow IT solutions that are unmanaged, they're unsecured, and often non-compliant.
Yeah. That's interesting. So if IT isn't needed in the same way, what role should IT play? And how does IT stay relevant given that users can do so much themselves? Right.
And great question, really, and that's the subject of our book, right? So it's really important to step back and think about things. We're going to get a lot of sales on that, by the way, with your help.
I'm trying to help you out.
You need to kind of step back and think about what's really important for IT. IT is a service organization, and they want to enable, they want to really embrace these technologies. But one of the critical roles they play is to protect the corporate information, right, that intellectual property of the organization, and ensure their users continue to remain compliant to security policy and regulations.
Okay, that's helpful. So given that we have got a lot of IT professionals in our audience today, how do these people actually aspire to create that relationship with users? I mean, what are the tips that you have for them?
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. That's why I brought Jason with me. And Jason and I worked collaboratively on this work, right? It was, if you look across the organization, look across solutions, Jason is really the ZEN master.
Okay.
When it comes to application maintenance, he really is the expert. And having him help me write this book was great. He has some great ideas how organizations can apply solutions to these problems today.
Terrific. So welcome, Jason. And I can feel your vibe. So as a ZEN master, I'm really curious. Enlighten me.
Sure. So we've got a great set of tools to really help IT work better with their users. One of the first ones we have is the Novell Service Desk product. And actually with the ZenWorks suite that we introduced last year, a whole bunch of the audience probably now owns Novell Service Desk. It lets you send emails to the help desk to open incidents. It lets you use a simple web portal. And in some of the things we've done in Bangalore lately, we've actually done some testing where we could actually open incidents with things like Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts.
Very cool.
We've also got the old NAL, the Novell application launcher, that really has been around for quite a while to help users get access to those applications that they need. And we've also introduced the ZAV server component, or the ZenWorks Application Virtualization Server, which really gives a whole bunch of users who previously maybe couldn't use ZenWorks a new way to access that. So you've got people like partners or consultants who maybe don't have corporate resources, but they still need access to those corporate apps and some of that corporate data, and you can deliver them through the web.
Wow. That seems like a terrific start and a good way to help IT connect and provide a service. I'm curious, based on what Rick outlined, Jason, is that enough?
Probably not. So there's definitely some things we still are doing. First of all, we're actually going to be overhauling the Novell application launcher in the next major release of ZenWorks that we call North Carolina as the code name. And I brought a screenshot of that.
Oh, cool.
You can basically see we're going to give it that facelift to really bring it into the more modern age, give it that new look, and also make it fully brandable so that your users really feel like they're interacting with the company, not necessarily with Novell or with ZenWorks. We're also going to bring a very similar experience to your mobile users in iOS and Android. And so we've got another screenshot here that shows kind of what that might look like. Again, it's currently with the default branding, but you could then turn around and brand this again for your company and make it feel that way as well. And then a little bit longer project that we're currently working on is something called Citadel. Don't even know a product name yet, just a code name. It's really about bringing that consumer app store experience into IT. And so the last screenshot I have on this kind of world is this new app store where I've got a now-type view, but that now-type view now has the ability to see a set of applications that the user can request. And so if I want Office, for instance, I might have to get you to approve that before I can get it. IT needs to check to make sure there's a license for that, and so that all needs to be wrapped up in a nice workflow. And at the top, you'll also see the request an app button so that just in case IT doesn't have that app in their portfolio, you can tell them what you need, why you need it, how they can get it, and then they can go source that for you.
Wow, that's
Self-service.
Self-service. Okay, that's pretty cool. So I want to make sure I'm following you on this branding thing. You mean that as a user, you go out there and you actually see, so if I'm part of the BrainShare band, I would see the BrainShare band. So I feel like I'm interacting with my employer, my company?
That's right.
Cool. Very cool. So what about access? It seems like you and Novell, you're helping customers find that. How do you help get the access and the control? Can you comment on that?
So first thing you have to do is know about the access and how users are accessing things. So you've got all of the acronyms, BYOD, BYOA, VDI, and you've got to make sure that you know which one of these things the user's coming from, what location they're coming from, and what the ownership of that device is even now. And so consequently, with our North Carolina release, we're doing a lot of work to really bring all of that together. So I've got a screenshot here of the new ZCC that's part of that release, and you can actually see this in IT Central today.
Okay.
I think this is the older ZCC here, right?
That shows the Android and the iOS pieces coming in to that overall ZenWorks experience. And so rather than have a separate console, separate product, you actually have the ability to see all of this and act on it in the same fashion you can with ZenWorks today.
Wow, so now that you get all this information about these different devices and everything together in one place, right? So what do you do with that then?
Well, so then it's up to you to Rick's point, protect the IP of the company as the users are trying to be efficient going from place to place. So they may go down to Starbucks and have their iPad with them, and suddenly they need to do something. And so you'll want to make sure they have an appropriate way to get that job done, whether that's with a local app and some security capabilities enforced on their iPad, or whether that's by spawning a VDI session through something like VMware View in conjunction with the ZenWorks components. When they come back into the office, maybe you loosen things up because they're on a secure network and you're not nearly as concerned.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Good stuff. So thanks for sharing that. And I'm curious, I guess I would broadly categorize what we've been talking about as expanded endpoint management capabilities. Is that fair? My producers like to do some digging. And they whispered in my ear that there might be something else. I'm not sure if you can sort of share this with us or if it's too top secret right now, but I've heard rumors about some other exciting things and initiatives going on. So just think about that, because I'd really like to share that with our audience. Before we get there, I have one more question on the endpoint that's just crept up on me.
Okay.
And that's just like the need to manage the Linux and the Unix desktops on the go, I've heard that administrators really want to have access from their ZenWorks to their ZenWorks console wherever they are. I mean, are you hearing that too? Is there this theme about wanting to be able to do your job if you're in IT from wherever you are too?
Sure. As a Zen master, I really don't want to be in the office if I can avoid it. And so I definitely want to be able to have whatever I have with me able to do that. And so with ZenWorks North Carolina, we're actually going to start introducing the next generation ZenWorks Control Center. We'll call it ZCC 2.0. And given the breadth of the portfolio, we're not going to get everything moved over. But as we've talked to our customers, we've identified some key pain points around our asset management component. And so that's where we're really going to start. You'll see here in this next screenshot that I've got the way we think this will shape up. And you'll actually be able to see some of this in IT Central as well. Basically, from here, it adapts to whatever device you're on. For instance, if you have a tablet or a phone, you could actually use the camera there in the search to be able to go scan a barcode and find that device by MAC address, for instance.
Very cool. That's great to have that adaptability, and I appreciate you as a Zen master being adaptable as well. All right, so again, now I kind of tipped my hat at the next question, but I'm curious, and Kevin responded to a question that really, he couldn't share the vision right now. He's excited to get to a point where he can, so this may be along those same lines, so it's okay to say no. But is there anything that you could share with us that might be a little preview about exciting initiatives and what else is you're working on besides expanding endpoint management?
Sure.
If I can, I thought we had agreed to kind of hold that, make people buy the book.
Well, he mentioned Citadel already, so we already have one little code.
So we've already got a little bit of that happening already.
I don't know what else there might be.
Well, go ahead and share. Go ahead and share.
All right, so we've really got a couple things. We've got something called Wilberforce, and as we provide more and more access to users, data security gets more and more important. And so Wilberforce is the idea of marrying a data classification engine up with a lot of our security and configuration tools so that I can do things like find data that's out on users' PCs that has social security numbers or credit card numbers or other types of classified data, and then really be able to then protect that data by doing things like, maybe it's a corporate device, so I fully encrypt the device.
Okay.
Maybe it's a BYOD device, so I move that data into an encrypted folder on there. Also, we're working on containerization technologies. And so with ZenWorks Application Virtualization Professional, we introduced some Windows containerization that makes it really easy for people working at home on their Windows devices to be able to go ahead and secure that data. We also, with ZMM 3.0, introduced Knox containerization support. And so that means on mobile Samsung devices we can do that. And we hope to have some more announcements soon about other containerization options.
Wow, you're busy. And you're so mellow. I guess that's why you're a Zen master, huh? I'd say that's a pretty good overview about how Novell is helping IT departments say yes to the end users and yes to the organizations need to protect IP and to protect the assets there. So listen, thanks very much for coming, both of you. I would tell all of you to run out and pick up this book, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it might be hard to find. So Rick, why don't you tell our audience where they can find more information?
Yeah, you bet. So first of all, I know we have a lot of Zen masters in the audience. A lot of our customers are Zen masters, so it's great to have them here with us. We have a lot of sessions on ZenWorks. In particular, we have one on kind of the roadmap and future directions where you can really go out and see some of the details that Jason's been talking about today. But we have a variety of sessions that people can attend. I also want to encourage you all to see IT Central. Tuesday night is Meet the Experts. There's a great opportunity for you guys to really meet the team, and by the end of this week, you too can become a Zen master.
So, Jason, are you one of the experts?
I am one of the experts, and the other thing I want to just put a plug in for there is we're going to start doing North Carolina betas soon, lighthouses soon, and I'd really love to have some of you take a look at what we're doing and get your hands on that and give us a lot of feedback.
All right. Well, listen, thanks so much. We're out of time. Thanks for coming. I do have a parting gift, but I'm going to wait till afterwards since we're a little late. But thanks very much. Congratulations again on the book, and congratulations on the latest release of ZenWorks. Fantastic feedback. So thanks very much.